Hester Jackson-Scott is passionate about living a more sustainable life. One of the ways she is doing this is by growing her own vegetables. She started the Rotorua Seed Library to encourage others to nurture plants which will thrive in the city's gardens.
Well, the idea sort of started a few years back when I visited the Nelson Seed Library, and I really liked their idea of what they were doing there. So we kind of got started with the Rotorua one over COVID, and first got people to donate seeds and stuff, and then we approached the Rotorua Public Library to see if they'd be happy to house the seed library, and they were really happy to help.
Vanessa Hill started out growing lettuce in a corner of her flower bed to help feed her pet guinea pigs. She soon caught the gardening bug and teamed up with Hester to help run the seed library.
The process of the Rotorua Seed Library is basically that you can come to the first level of the Rotorua Library, and up just around the corner there we have our seed library stand. There we have a whole heap of jars and little envelopes and pens where you can pour out your seeds and write up what they are, and you can also at the same place take some envelopes, take them home and donate some seeds that you have grown at home.
It's quite natural, I think, when you're growing things to want to share seeds with others. And having a seed library and having them saved sort of year on year and available for free just means that it means they're accessible to everyone, and everyone can grow something without having to have that, that barrier of cost so much. When you connect growers with each other, then it helps to grow your community as well as the gardens.
Hester says the benefits of tending a backyard garden are much more than just growing your own vegetables.
Apart from the whole thing where, gardening, it's good exercise, you get out in the sun, it's good for your mental health. But it's also, I guess, especially with food gardening these days, it is important as much as you can to grow your own food, because with rising costs and with the extreme weather events, if you're not doing that, then you're a bit more vulnerable.
While the seed library has only just taken root, she already has big plans for how she'd like to see it grow.
The base goal is to make the seeds available for everything, and longer term I'd like to link up with various community groups, maybe get them to be sort of seed guardians, because we do have difficulties with not enough seeds coming back to the library to keep all of the varieties stocked. If there's something that you grow really well year after year, then those are the seeds that we'd love for you to save some extras and just put a few extra plants in and get them back to the seed library.
Hester and the other volunteers hosted a number of public events around Rotorua to educate local gardeners about becoming seed guardians and the importance of harvesting seeds.
It is hoped that many people will become a seed guardian, which basically means you are being a guardian for one or more varieties of plants. For example, you might be a silver beet seed guardian, and you'll take some of our silver beet seeds, you'll go home and grow them, and then you will bring back the seeds later.
As part of the Sustainable Backyards Bay of Plenty, we are doing a talk on seed saving basically, and how to do that more easily to help people to learn.
Kai Rotorua recently purchased Tapuia Orchard, where it is now based. It provides locally grown produce for the public, as well as offering opportunities to help plant and maintain the gardens, with a focus on growing kumara.
We've been working with Sustainable Backyards now for the last 4 years, and we've held an event around that time every year, and it's always been around the planting and growing of kumara. We're getting ready to harvest our kumara, which will be next month. We're quite late in the season for harvesting our kumara because of the weather that we've had lately. And people are really starting to take the kumara these days because the price of kumara is just exorbitant, at $17 a kilo. Our friends up to the north there, we've got a good relationship with Kaipara kumara. Well, between 70 and 90% of their crop this year is gone. So it's important that we start to do this in our backyards.
Te Rangi says anyone can grow kumara, and on the 1st of April, Kai Rotorua will be hosting a planting demonstration as part of Sustainable Backyards.
So up here on the day, people will come in again. We get around about 80 odd people that come up, and I do a demonstration around the planting of kumara and the importance of some of the protocols that are around that. And then this year, we're going into town to look at one of our customers here actually, who's grown kumara. He asked me if I could donate some kumara seeds to him, which we would gladly give to people. He's planted them and has a fantastic bed of kumara.
Peter Jones has been gardening since he bought his first house in 1973. Today he grows all his own produce.
I had a crack at gardening because being a banker, we were always a bit conservative. And the old bank manager said, you must have your own garden just in case, things get tough. So I started gardening, and it was near winter, and neighbours either side took pity on me and came over and said, nothing's going to grow for a while. And they showed me what I had to do. And they coached me for a couple of years. And that was nice. And then that just started it all off. I think it's good for the soul. I think when you're in the finance game, the money game, it's soulless, it is. And that was my career. And so I'd come home and I'd just get in the garden and your mind switches off.
With his background in finance, Peter is very aware of the financial benefits of being able to feed himself and his family with homegrown vegetables.
It's back in with nature and it's great. And now, of course, we've got a bit of a food safety crisis going on. We do need food. There's a cost of living crisis. Just go to the supermarket and just see how difficult it is to source vegetables, let alone pay for them. So yeah, we're pretty much self-sufficient when it comes to vegetables.
Gardening is an evolving process, and Peter is always looking at adding new crops to his garden and learning how to improve his gardening skills.
And then, of course, we've got the kumara, which is my new project, first time growing. Very proud of them. Out there at the orchard at Tipuya. We've been going out there for some years now, getting tomatoes and plums. I started to notice that his gardening skills were way in excess of mine, but I'd like to, just to develop a little bit more and, evolve, I guess. And so I've been thinking about growing some kumara, and I thought maybe it'd be too hard. So for a bit of a koha, he gave me some slips and we've put them in. And then I looked at it and I thought maybe it's just too green, or I don't know, I just don't know enough about it. So I got hold of him and sent him a picture, and he rang me and he said, I've got to come here and see this. And I said, well, I'm not showing off. And he said, you should. There's 15 plants in there, and I'm told you get 5 kumara per plant. So we've got 75, potentially 75 big kumara sitting in there, which is pretty exciting because there's a year's supply out of one small group. We'll get the best of them and then we will pass them on to other gardeners so they can grow some slips off it too.
This sharing of information and the love of gardening is having a big impact on the community, and it couldn't be more timely.
And if we don't learn from the message that Gabrielle brought with her and the devastation, we're on the wrong planet. And if we don't take charge and look after our planet and look after our environment, what's our purpose for being here?
Mead Norton, Local Focus.